Christine, it's a pleasure to welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The state has turned around quite amazingly from the last time we did a conference here.
Right.
You come from technology background as well.
Mm-hmm.
That helps in making sure the right legislation gets through the House.
Right, exactly.
So your perspective on how you think last 6 years have really turned around?
Well, Michigan did experience quite a deep recession starting back in 2008, 2009, and technology has been actually one of the reasons we've come out of it. Our automotive industry has been leading the charge in bringing jobs back and growing the economy. A big part of that has been their technological advances in autonomous vehicle development and semi-autonomous as well. And the number of jobs that our automotive industry has added really did lead to the comeback of Michigan.
Mm-hmm. So when you talk about auto industry, obviously this is the capital of the world for auto industry. All the big three players are here. Autonomous is, people have concerns. Beyond the safety.
Yeah.
But let me, pause and look at how the auto industry itself has turned around so well, from the bankruptcy to all the way where they are.
Right.
And this has happened in cycles in the past as well. As somebody was mentioning this morning, 100 years ago, this region was the Silicon Valley of US. So your take on how this industry, takes so much influence on the region and beyond, even the US and the world?
Well, besides our automotive industry, being centered here with General Motors and Chrysler and Ford, we also are a center of incredible talent. And we have, I believe, the highest concentration of engineers in Southeast Michigan in the country. And when you combine these leading companies with the talent that's out there, and you have the breakthrough innovations that and improvements in safety. 20 years ago, safety was kind of a byproduct of the automotive industry, and now that's one of the number one things that consumers look at. And so we've been able to take our engineering talent and working with our traditional companies and really having breakthroughs, and I believe that was one of the big reasons for turnaround as well.
So when startups form, they want no regulation, no restrictions on them.
Right.
They want free thinking, free minds. How do you think the local government plays that role?
Well, you cannot, in my opinion, operate in a vacuum, either the entrepreneurs by themselves or government. For example, when we talk about autonomous vehicles, there's a huge connection, obviously critical connection with our infrastructure. If the government is not planning for how the roads will be designed and developed, if they're not thinking about safety measures, if they're not thinking about the workforce itself to be able to follow up on those innovations, then we're not helping each other. And so even at the smaller levels, we have to make sure that there's coordination and partnership between government and our entrepreneurs and our businesses. And that's what will make us move forward even faster and be even more successful. So you always have to have, I believe, that partnership going in dialogue. When we talk about autonomous vehicles, when you really think about it, it affects so many different areas in our everyday lives. It affects insurance, right? Who's really responsible when you have no driver in the car? It affects our infrastructure spending and design. It affects our security. We have a lot of the committees that I sit on, we talk a lot about cybersecurity. Well, now that is becoming a huge issue with our cars. And so we have all these different areas that have to be coordinated. And we also want to have the entrepreneurs have the landscape to be able to test their ideas out as well. And sometimes that also involves government getting in there and paving the way for that kind of innovation.
You're a big proponent of training the next generation of workforce, which is very important.
Mm-hmm.
People have this fear autonomous vehicle will take away many jobs, but it will add many more jobs.
Right.
Also, so some thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it clearly is a shift in what the skills are needed for our workforce. And we're finding right now that we actually have a shortage of workers. You hear a lot about the competition for talent. So what we have to make sure is that we are exposing our young people at very early ages to what the potentials are. And we really have to focus on problem solving and innovation because the technologies that will be in operation when they're getting out of school are not what's there today. So we have to teach them to be more adaptive and more cognizant of problem solving skills. We are seeing a lot more investment down to the elementary level. in science, technology, engineering, and math. Programs, our schools are retooling to make sure that they are exposing the children at a very young age. And we also need to make sure that we bring girls into it too. Traditionally, women have not gone into more of the science and technology fields, but they are great problem solvers. We all juggle a lot of different things. And so again, we have to build that confidence up in our young women that this is a very viable opportunity and that they have great talents that can really help the industry. And we also have to partner with other countries, other governments too, to make sure that talent is shared as well. We're not going to have all homegrown talent. So we have to make sure that we have our avenues open to bring in more talent from other areas as well.
Christine, thank you again. You're a very passionate leader, very driven, and all the very best for your re-election.
Well, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to participate. It's a wonderful conference.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Matthias.